Hey guys, this is Clinton Jeff and today we're checking out the brand new Adidas X9000L3 shoes. Let's check them out. Alright, first up, major thanks to Adidas Malaysia for sending these in. Last month I checked out the brand new Adidas X9000L3, which is a brand new silhouette from Adidas Running that looks pretty awesome with a very dramatic full-length Boost midsole. The L3 that I'm talking about today is basically a cheaper version of the L4 that has a few compromises to achieve the lower price. There's slightly different materials used in the upper, and the L3 only has Boost in the forefoot area with Adidas Bounce cushioning in the heel area. And while it might not be as premium, these are being pitched as running shoes and I think Adidas did a pretty good job at that. But that being said guys, I should point out that this is just a casual review from a casual runner's point of view. I'm definitely not an elite runner, so this is not a performance review. The Adidas X9000 series is inspired by gaming culture apparently and officially dropped in September. There's 5 shoes in the series, with the most expensive being a 4D version called the X9000 4D, which as you can guess from the name features a 4D midsole. Apart from that, there are a few more approachable versions with the Adidas X9000L1, which is the cheapest and features an algae-based sock liner with Adidas Boost midsole cushioning. Then there's the slightly more expensive X9000L2, which features a more comfortable textile upper with the same algae-based EVA foam and Adidas Bounce midsole cushioning. And then there's the L3 and the L4, but I'll leave a link to the L4 review in the description below. I gotta say, it's an interesting move by Adidas to announce a new silhouette under their performance brand and then different versions of it available at different price points. Coming to the X9000L3 itself, you can see that I got the mostly black and white colorway with hits of this neon orange. This is just one of 8 colorways available at launch and I'm pretty sure we'll see even more colors coming along in the next couple of months. The silhouette of the X9000L3 definitely borrows from silhouettes of the past. It's a really sleek, streamlined design that you have to admit looks kind of futuristic. Starting with the upper, it's constructed out of a black textile material, which is quite breathable. Unfortunately, the L3 doesn't use the same prime knit material upper as the L4. There's also a lot of these geometric taping-like floating triangular accents, along with a few supportive underlays to add more structure to the upper, but also adds a distinctive design to the shoe. Moving to the lateral side of the shoe, the Adidas 3 stripes have a really cool reflective 3M coating, which looks pretty awesome. The medial and the lateral sides of the shoe look pretty much the same, except for the Bounce branding on the medial side. And then moving towards the back, you have this really interesting TPU heel counter that extends towards the back of the heel. This area with the pull tab kind of thing at the back feels very similar to the Ultra Boost. Moving on, at the top of the shoe is a pretty regular lacing system with flat black laces that go through eyelets that are made out of the TPU and supportive underlay materials. There's this very interesting pop of a neon orange color on the first 2 lace eyelets and the top 3, which is kind of fun. The flat black laces weave through these and feel comfortable enough on your feet. Underneath the laces is a nicely padded nylon tongue. Admittedly, a little bummed out that Adidas didn't use the same sock-like one-piece upper that they use on the L4 here, but no big deal. Apart from that, moving upwards, there's the Adidas 3 stripes performance logo at the top of the tongue in a grey color. Coming to the inside of the shoe, you have a black insole with the Boost logo in its neon orange color. And then moving downwards, let's talk about the most interesting part of the shoe. While it's not as dramatic a design as the midsole on the L4, the midsole here uses 2 different kinds of cushioning. There's the Boost cushioning towards the forefoot area, switching over to Adidas Bounce cushioning underneath the heel area. I really wish that they stuck to the overly dramatic, chunky design of the midsole on the L4s here, but these still look pretty okay. I've talked about Boost cushioning a million times before, but it's pretty much the best cushioning tech on shoes right now, having just the right amount of soft and plush while also being really responsive as well. Adidas Bounce cushioning has been around for many more years now and is more rigid while still being a decent amount of soft and responsive. The result is a shoe that feels firm underfoot without as much of a sink-in feeling that you get from a full-length Boost midsole, but I'll talk more about how these feel later on. Moving on, you'll notice that the midsole at the forefoot is lined with this hit of a neon orange rubber outsole, which adds to that sort of futuristic look of the shoe and has a nice pop of color as people see you walking around on these. The rest of the outsole seems to be your usual black rubber Adidas outsole in a thread pattern that is apparently inspired by computer-generated data, whatever that means. No continental rubber here, unfortunately. One extra thing that I did notice were these tiny little rubber spikes on the outsole, which is supposed to be for added traction, but these tend to get worn out pretty quickly the more you wear the shoe. Alright, that's about it for design. Coming to comfort and performance. Now, while I thought that the L4 was more meant as a comfortable lifestyle shoe, I have to admit with the L3, you slip them on and you immediately feel like going for a run. The combination of the Adidas Bounce cushioning under the heel and the Boost cushioning under the forefoot give the shoe a really different kind of feeling than what I'm used to. Maybe because I'm so used to always wearing full-length Boost or full-length Nike React foam. It's a kind of firm feeling underfoot. Of course, it's still soft under the forefoot because of the Boost cushioning there, but underneath the heel, it's quite a bit more firm. As a result, these aren't exactly super comfortable for everyday casual wear, but for runs or general exercise, these are actually pretty great. While I do feel like these are designed more for casual runners like me rather than elite runners, the L3 does a really great job at providing you a soft yet firm and responsive cushioning with every step. I wore these on a few casual runs around my block, and even for a basketball sesh. I know, scandalous. And the L3 actually held up pretty well. Around the last 2 weeks that I've worn these around, I actually really appreciated the way the bounce cushioning felt under my heel. It's firm enough that it's supportive, but soft enough to help absorb any impact on your heel. And then moving on, as I mentioned earlier, the outsole tread pattern was apparently inspired by computer-generated data and is supposed to provide reliable traction on city streets. From my experience with these, that seems to be pretty true. The shoe holds up pretty well on city runs, on streets and roads, and seems to have plenty of traction. The traction held up pretty well even on a rainy run on wet roads. But then remember guys, I'm a really casual runner, so take that advice for what you think it's worth. So all in all, the L3 is actually a pretty good exercise and running shoe. I'd even recommend getting these over the more expensive L4, but please note that these do not have the super breathable PrimeNet mesh upper of the L4s. But that's just my opinion on these. The best way to know how these would feel for you is to head on over to an Adidas store to try out a pair. The X9000L4 and the L3 are both available in store here in Malaysia to try out. Speaking of which, in terms of sizing, these do tend to fit a little snug. So if you have wide feet like I do, I definitely advise going up half a size. For example, I'm a UK 11, so Adidas sent me these in a half size up and they actually fit pretty great. If you have regular narrow feet though, you can go true to size here, no worries. Alright guys, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at the Adidas X9000L3 on feet. The Adidas X9000L3 is priced at $120 in the US and 500 RM here in Malaysia. That makes them quite a bit cheaper than the L4, though obviously they have their own pros and cons. But while I could only recommend the L4 as everyday lifestyle shoes, the L3 is a great pair of casual running shoes. It's a supportive firm ride that is soft enough to be comfortable for runs or for general exercise, and while the upper is not PrimeNet, it's still lightweight and breathable and comfortable enough to make these a great pair of casual running shoes. I totally think that the L3 is worth checking out. Just make sure you try them on in a store first just to get the sizing right. Alright guys, so that's what I think about the brand new Adidas X9000L3. I'd love to know what you guys think about these shoes, or if you think there's anything better in the price range. Let me know right in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to see more photos of the X9000L3, you can head on over to my Instagram and maybe give me a follow at ClintonJeff. And hey, if you found this video helpful and you want to support the channel, don't forget to hit the like button right below and maybe subscribe because that would be appreciated. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.